Welcome everybody, my name is Matthew McGuire with Crescent Vale. Right now we are at Fern Cliff, Southern Illinois. It's outside out of Goreville. We are at Round Bluff Nature Preserve. About to take you on a little walking hike along with a project that I'm working on. We'll get into it as we go. Just want to kind of show you a little bit of Southern Illinois, its beauty. On a nice beautiful day, we got a little sunshine coming through. So we're going to go real quick over the ins and outs of the Round Bluff. It's only going to be 1.25 miles. It's going to have a nice bluff. A little information about it. So they want to reduce invasive species, which makes sense. Let's get to walking. This is also, if you just put it on, watch the video, and then take the walk yourself. You might be on a treadmill. You can put this on while you're on, at home. I think that these nature walks are really great because you get to experience different parts of the world. And at the same time, I have a project that I'm working on I want to share with you. This is pretty moderate. It's a good word. I hear large animals in the forest. I don't think they're that large. Hopefully they're not. It's like a large bear or a wolf. Hopefully it's not a wolf. I'm pretty sure they'd be scared of all of the technology. A wolf would never want to mess with a man with a camera. Why? I don't know. It just seems like a wolf would know. Like, man, that electronic device is bad news. So that's not what the project I'm working on is all about. Let me get to it. So it's kind of a program. It's an online class that I'm working with. And what I'm working on is a script. It's kind of like a rough draft to a script. And what we're working on is kind of a act by act at a time. We're working on Act 1 right now. And I want to start rounding into Act 2, maybe work on Act 3 as well. And I want to be able to post this, share it with my group members, so they can see a little bit where I'm from, at the same time hearing a little bit about the ideas that I have going. I also heard that, it's probably known that while you're walking, you build a lot of great ideas. So I think it'd be interesting if I'm throwing out ideas while I walk, talk, and film. And at the same time, we can be engaging in an online discussion later. So the first part of it is I want to have a character. We're working on a couple of different characters in it. Two of them in particular. They have the ability to grow produce after a set of storms. These storms have gone on in the future. It's placed in 2030, so it's a fictional story. And two characters come across what I want to do is a conflict of either saving or kind of telling two politicians to take a hike that prevent them from being able to expand their farm against, obviously like a national kind of farming thing. And it's kind of goes into the importance of farming, one. Two, importance of local farms. And the story, what I want to get into is the characters have to decide if saving the people that are against it is in their character or if it's not. This is a little bit difficult area. I couldn't directly look at the camera at that moment. Joking. So we're going into Act 2. What we've already set the scene is we have two characters. They've invited two friends over. It's 2030. What we can do is work on a little bit of what these characters are going to say in this next part. And I'll go ahead and throw out some ideas. So we have two main characters inviting two new characters over. And these two characters can be people in our group. And we can just have them kind of place their characters' names in. And then we'll have them playing off of the two main characters that are pre-existing. All right, so what I'm thinking is in Act 2, well, we're still in Act 1, really. We're still setting the scene. We're still kind of getting our characters going. So I think for moving into Act 2, maybe a little bit more in Act 1, we are going to, after we introduce two characters, I think what's important is how many characters do we want to have total? Do we want to have it... how many more do we need to introduce in the near future is something. I think how many do we need total is like, for our short I think it's going to be a shorter script because we only really, I think, have 5 weeks in the class. So I think it's going to be shorter, and that therefore not meaning to have a lot of different characters to convolute a story that we're trying to tell in a short amount of time. You get my drift? So maybe we should stick with 4, but let's talk about that in the comments. So we have the 2 that we bring in. Maybe we bring in 1 other 2 more characters, just so we have everybody in our group. How's that sound? That's great. So everybody in the group contributes character, and then they interact with the ongoing plot. Excellent. So what we need to do is we have the introductions in Act 1. What we can do is we're at a campfire, so we can kind of bring up some ins and outs of the plot, which is kind of not a post-apocalyptic, but I know I've mispronounced that. Not really that kind of world, but definitely one that's been tattered and beaten by a lot of storms, where it's a low population. I was thinking we were saying like in the larger cities, only 1,000 people, so our area would have like a few dozen. So helping people would be a more intensive, maybe more intensive, a more important thing to do. So I just want to touch on that. All right, so when we add the new other characters, we'll get into Act 2. And I'm thinking, like, how do we take this and make it, why do people want to get engaged with it in Act 2, you know, like the meat of it? And I think we could have maybe another set of storms, would be maybe an idea. And that would maybe bring people together or apart. And your ideas would be great. So throw out some ideas for Act 2. And I think we were talking about Act 3. They kind of have to make the decision to save, or I guess maybe perish, maybe just tell to find another area. But I think that let's work on Act 2 right now, and we'll get back to it. Southern Illinois.